I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? You wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, but when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? Who will you be tomorrow? And what are you today?
Okay, hello darlings, we're back. And soggy. First thing I did was overdose on water. It's okay. These are the test swatches from the wool acquired yesterday. The wool that has made me so happy. Really happy. And we're testing it today. So here, this stripe of 3 colors mixtures is 80% merino wool and 20% silk. It's the softest thing I've ever touched that didn't immediately melt. Move some of that water down this way. This gorgeous wool is not cheap, but worth every penny. But because it's not cheap, really no fiber gathered from an animal should be considered cheap. An animal had to grow it. Even if it's a fast growth, you still have to credit the animal and then the person who harvests it and cleans it and combs it and turns it into something that people like me can use. Fiber is one of our original art supplies. And while working on research for book 3, I came across human hair. Now, I'd seen it here and there in history, things woven of human hair, but usually connected with some funeral rite or after death thing. And it turns out, no, in old societies, it was a fiber, a nice durable fiber, not good for clothes next to your skin like the rougher wools. These are great for next to skin, they're like silk. But the rough ones, like hair, they're good for external wear. And also practical items. Now, in the case of the human hair research, has to do with book 3 and the magic carpet that needs a repair. Turns out one of the yarns was made of hair. Now that it's wet, you can see the dominant color in each one of these skeins. I don't think they're called skeins. They might be, but they're not turned into yarn yet. Usually after it's turned into yarn, that's what I associate with skein. In this case, it's more like a big, dense braid. If you were here yesterday, you would have seen me taking them apart enough to withdraw a sample. Now these very, very, very light, fragile. They're not fragile on their own. They're very strong fibers. But the position is fragile right now because I've just started moving them around and getting them to say hello to their neighbors. They can get more aggressive, like this one. This one. This is very coarse. This would be a good filler, make a good outside of a handbag, as long as it wasn't going to be against your skin. It's just too rough for that. Definitely the kind of thing that makes me so, given my hands sensitivity, I won't be manipulating this very much with my bare hands. Yeah, I won't. But that's okay, we don't have to. This is a little softer, but also kind of on the coarse side. It's a more outerwear. You can see how big these hairs are, because you can see individual hairs just sticking out on the edge here. And not felted yet, they're just really relatively fat hairs. There's these are more like clouds. They just kind of dissolve in the air. So you see more of a poof, which is probably not an official term. I am a beginner. I haven't gotten all the terms down yet. I just found that when I bought these, I bought 1, 2, 3 slivers. They're called slivers. I have to now look that up. All I know is really nice, absolutely gorgeous, and plentiful amount of wool with silk. Now this sample, I did not want to waste any wool. So instead of doing the typical 3 layers, you have to cross them over. A 3rd layer would definitely make it more sturdy, but we're trying right now just to see what the colors look like when they have to intermix. And how thin can we get away with? This might be absolutely perfect for that 100-year-old scarf. When I was handling it yesterday, that's the only thing I could think of. Like, this would be absolutely perfect. Not quite the color I was collecting for this project, but on its own, it's just so stunning. Now, this is making some foamage because there's bar soap inside here, but I don't really need the soap at this point. Now, when I flip this over, it'll be useful. Like that. Now, there's a wooden disc you can get for this purpose, so you don't spend soap, but I kind of want to use this up so I can throw it away. So it doesn't bother me if I'm depositing a little excess. Also, wrapping your soap in wool, that does make it last longer. And now we can give all that soap back. Forgive those who have wronged you for your own peace of mind. Oh, that's cool. I don't know whose that was, but it's a good one. Yep. And it's starting to fill. It's a good sign, but it also means we have a little too much water here. So I'm going to go get some sponges I dried just for this purpose. Well, they're not completely dry yet. I sterilize them every week, so that's why they're all in the kitchen. Oh, I still got a good amount of water out. I need to flip them over. Oh, that's right. I flipped it together. I have to flip the whole thing over. There we go. Oops. There we go. More water. Oh yeah. That's just soaked. My. Wow. Really flat. My goodness. Wow, that is the most delicate tree felt I made yet. I think these two pieces are fairly solid. Okay, delicate ones. Beautiful sky. We have a full moon tonight. Full moon is going to rise full somewhere near 8 o'clock tonight on the East Coast. Anyway. You have to check your local times for your moon. Full strawberry moon. Let's see, it's working. The magic by which loose, airy fibers become a solid fabric. That's a little squashy. this is so delicate. I don't know if I should risk using the sticks. Well, it takes nothing to pop a hole in this. It's only 2 layers thick. So I will wash it with some plain water, and we'll see what we've got. This will not take long. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh my goodness. Gorgeous colors. All right, this traveled a little bit, but I kind of expected some of that to happen when I started moving things out. Very, very cool. So I think the plan for these, like in making a purse, for example, would be to map out the whole thing, make it first in some nice heavy wool, like this. Only I would go with the white or the black. And then 2 layers of this. So 4 layers in total. It should make a sturdy bag. 2 of the fine stuff on the top, 2 of the bulky, withstand anything kind of. Okay. Well, we can set this aside now. Now these haven't been washed, but oh yeah, it's left unfelting. And it becomes fabric right under your fingers. Now this was a scrap of wool. I stretched out and folded on top of itself a couple of times. Let's just see what it looks like after it's felted. there we have it. Still feels a little slip inside. Like some of the fibers in the middle have not quite felt in. So this will probably do well with this rolling. Ditto for this. Yeah, that definitely needs more soapy water. I don't know who figured out using a bamboo mat, but genius. It is like a good finishing touch to get as much texture as you can get out of the wall. Also, it dries it up. Bamboo helps absorb the moisture and squeeze it out onto your towel. It's happening. Definitely. Although now I'm kind of abusing it. Okay. Oh yeah, my tea. I always bring tea. Half the time I forget it. Satisfying. Well, it looks like the sun is coming out, but we've got gigantic, gigantic. It's redundant. Gigantic fluffy white clouds. It just looks like, it's kind of like whipped cream. Like if you're in an airplane looking down, it's kind of like that, only I'm looking up and I'm real close by. So nice view today. So it's pretty dry. Could be more felted, I think. Oh, this part here is thicker because I overlapped it. And that's very strong. Over here, you can see too much light. This is, I don't know what kind of wool this is, but it's not merino. Hmm. It behaves kind of like my red wool. It feels almost like there's a synthetic mixed with it, which I don't believe is the case, but it kind of acts like it. Yeah, I don't know what to make of the wools like that. I've only had several different kinds in my possession to experiment with, so I'm one of those people that would need to have, like flavored cookies. They all can look alike, but you have to be able to smell them to know. In each jar, it has its own cookie. You never mix them. It's kind of like that with the fibers. Well, it is pretty. It kind of reminds me of a jacket one of my sisters had years ago. And yes, it was wool. And way too scratchy for me to wear. But you can use another wool as a lining, like this. Specifically, this is fully felted, but it's a merino. I mean, now I forgot the name of the wool. Corriedale. That's it. Corriedale wool is also kind of rough. Not as rough as this, though. This is rough enough where you could make a kitchen scrubby out of it and be okay. In fact, it's kind of like human hair and how stiff it feels, how unpliable, and also kind of how thick. Except that this is definitely wool because it felts, and hair does not. It has to be felted with wool. Interesting. Little bits. Yep. We have a big piece. Which I need to wash. Now, I'm now using watercolor pencils to do my marking because it washes right out. And you can make a line big enough to see well because it washes out. Okay, put you over there. That we don't need to keep. We're going to keep that as a sample. Okay, so let's see, what time is it? 2:21. We have plenty of time. I'm going to trade towels for a dry one. Okay, let's take a look at this again. Now that it's starting to get a little drier, you can see how sparkly the silk is. But it's still too wet for you to really appreciate it. I'm going to hang this up too. Now, my friend wants to make a purse for her sister. And I promised to make sure that she would end up with a successful end product. But as we have been talking, the pocketbook is getting smaller, which is a good thing. I'm concerned that my friend, not her skill level, but her physical challenges with her hands and wrists might cause her not to want to not be able to finish the project in a reasonable amount of time. And I don't like for people just, starting to get the hang of things to get frustrated with biting off more than they can chew. So I need to create a template to make it easy on them. Let's get a manageable chunk cut off, and then I'll work out the details. Right, it always shrinks quite a bit. Okay. Now, she wants a purse with a flap. The flap always comes down 3/4 of the length. There's the bag. There's the top of the bag. Now, she also wants to do inlay, so I want to cut this too severely. Okay. Now this is bigger than will be needed because when we're making a purse or a vessel, this is just the insert. You work on both sides of it. So when you remove this, you've got that pocket. So it's very good for making pocket books. But they do shrink madly. So you're going to want to start with something this size. And for the top part, you only use one side. I think that will do it. So I hope that will do it. I'll keep these aside for now. Okay. So the square part will be done on both sides. This will only be done on one side. Let's put this up for the moment. think that's a manageable size for my friend. Now, got this raggedy piece. Yeah, there's a superstition about the strawberry moon. Put a silver coin on your windowsill out in the moonlight tonight to see your money increase. Of course, if you're on the ground floor, I would not flaunt my silver in the window. But aside from that, okay, so this is for an unidentified project as of yet. And this. I'm thinking. Suppose I could make a bag. I like the idea of a flap. It saves so much time in putting in buttons and such. No, we did that poorly executed. Now I have these gorgeous black and gold tassels I purchased specifically to hang off the bottom of the purse that I made, but that was the purse that I accidentally ended up using acrylic instead of real wool. And this difference was not seen until I attempted to felt it. It was labeled wool when I bought it. And I ended up having to throw the whole bottom away. But it was coming out really nice with black and midnight blue. Some gorgeous textures. I don't want this to be identical. It's not. Okay, that'll work. Yes. Okay. The only question that remains is which color scheme. But you know what? Doesn't matter. The white has to go down first. Okay, let's pull this off. Well. Big project time. Now, the real question is, how far will I get before my hunger gets the best of me? And I say, no, I must finish this. And then I fight with myself and I lose. All right. We're going to do the outside first, so I can cover this whole thing. And then we'll flip it over. This is the stuff that I got from China that smells so bad. It doesn't smell bad to work with it now because I've been airing it out for months. But the minute water hits it, I might go miss. But I can use it because it will wash out. There will not be any smell by the time I'm done felting it. See how much we need. When it comes to purses, you cannot skimp on the wall. To do so means you'll probably have things poking through, like your pen might suddenly appear on the ground. And since this is going to be wraparound, we want to make sure that there's plenty over the edges to flip. You don't want the seams falling apart as we felt it. And this stuff is deceptively soft at this moment. It's tough stuff today. I have now taken my purses out for test runs. Only one that had a fail was the very delicate rose one. And that wasn't a big fail. I fixed it with a couple of stitches. That had to do with the latch I made. The loop part popped off. But like I said, not a hard thing to repair at all. Oh, I can't wait to meet more fiber artists in the area. Oh, let me think a second. We're going to be doing 4 layers, 2 white to give us the strength and bulk, and then 2 colored. So I need to make sure I'm starting in the right position, because I want to finish with the wool facing that way. So we start and finish the same way, right? Right. Horizontal, vertical, horizontal. Oh, wait a second. Maybe I didn't have it right. Got it. I started out right, and then I doubted myself and had to go back and look again. Okay, I'm going to be the headless artist for a little bit here. A, I need to stretch my legs and my back, so I'm standing up. And B, I need the overview to see where this is thin. All right, first layer looks good. Okay. The primary layers are down. And now I've got to decide on the color. Oh. We have some absolutely stunning options today. Now, I have to admit, it is really hard to resist that. So I won't. We're going to use it. I'm not even sure what I'll wear it with, but that's gorgeous. And I have to have it. And since I can make it, I don't have to worry about affordability. Okay. Look at that. I think I'll make this my Halloween or autumn purse. Wow. I'm separating it here so I can pull it off and commence work from there. But it's extremely well combed together. The depth of color being revealed right now as I'm pulling this apart is just, I mean, look at these colors. I wondered what it was like to work with one of these, and I have to say, interesting. You don't realize how compact this is until you start doing this. Wow. That's wow. Wow. Okay, let's take a look at this one unwound a bit. We've got some gold in here. It's really stunning. There we go. And the depth of color is just striking. It's gorgeous, darlings. It's just gorgeous. Wow. I'm doing a lot of wowing because I am way impressed by this. Okay, so what are we doing? I'm not really sure. All I know is we're going to do 2 layers of this, and the final layer is going to be facing that direction. So I want the colors to work together. That this is like really, really so fine. Doesn't really want to let go of itself. Look at that color. And I'm going to put that right up here because I want it right in the front. On top. It's like fire. It's so soft that once you separate the fibers into a workable stretch, it's you can hardly feel it. It's so soft. Let's see, we've got this deep purple there. There's this magenta. And the nice thing about putting this on white is it really helps show up the nuances of the colors. I'd like to try it on black though too. I think it would look gorgeous. No more kind of mysterious. Okay, you're being stubborn. Mhm. Only thing I don't like about cut edges. It's not as cool as the feather. These rich colors, gorgeous fades. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to stand up to see this. The headless artist. Oh, I just did it backward. Okay. Yeah, when you're standing above it, you can definitely see the spots you need to fill in. There you are, Gary. I was just thinking of you. I looked at the clock and said, you should be around here soon. Now let's take a look at the template. I'd say we got way overkill. Which gives me another idea. It's crooked. Hold on. And we are going to take one end. Okay, now let's move on with it, because now we've got to move the color that way. Let me read what you said. And they took away the 7 to 2, and I can finally cut my grass and do my laundry tomorrow. Good. We all need a job, but we don't need to work so much that we don't have no time to live. Looks like thin right there. Not a clean stitch. Well, that's sad. I probably would have washed out something by hand by now. Aloha. So how is your weather out there, Maui? Yeah, you said that, didn't you? I don't know what you mean by it. Isn't that what the wicked witch of the West said as she was dissolved by water? What a world, what a world. Ah, are you getting normal hot? Or are you getting heat wave, heat dome hot? Over 1,000 people died from the heat in Europe this week. Heat dome. Yeah, it's headed here. I think it's supposed to start arriving tomorrow. Have to look. Right now it is not too hot, but the humidity is like, I don't know, almost 90%. I can't believe there's still people going outside and having cigarettes in this weather. You can barely breathe without a cigarette. It's tropically hot there. I got an answer to a letter from one of our senators today. Well, I'm going to guess it actually came in on Friday because I didn't look at my email. He addressed me by my first name. So when I replied, I addressed him by his first name. No, just my bathroom. Oh, well, here we've got people going outside. It's like, it's the smoking crowd. I have to say I'm really glad not to be among them anymore. I mean, I never was here, but I am an ex-smoker. Gratefully ex. Almost done with the first side. It's like a big pillow that I need more of this color. Life seems like a board game. It is whatever you think it is. If you don't like how it looks, rethink your life. What do you want it to look like? What do you want to be? All right, let's get a lighter color out. Yep, that's it. What do you want to live? If you stop thinking about what's in your face and you stop thinking about the past, what do you want for your future? kind of like asking yourself, what do you want to be when you grow up? You can't go, I want to live the life of a millionaire, because you have never lived a rich life. You've got no idea what it feels like. You can't vibrate at that rate. You have to feel it to vibrate it, to attract it, because life matches your vibration. That's it. Nobody else's. Unless, we used to refer to people like just floating around like a lost flower, floating on the water, no roots. Live for what? Life is more than about just collecting a bunch of things. Life's about our experiences, the things that make us truly happy. And if the answer to that is always money, you're never going to have any money. And therefore, you'll never be really happy. Money is a byproduct of something. So it's not the money, it's what you're doing that makes you happy. I am very thankful for what I have. I appreciate what I have. And when you're in a state of appreciation, you're in a higher vibration. When you're in a state of wanting what other people have and not being content with what you have, you're in a lower vibration. And that creates a state of wanting more because you don't have it. So it's very important to pay attention to what you have and how you're reacting to your environment. Are you in the process of attracting good stuff or your fears? Most people keep finding themselves attracting their fears because they can't get their head out of their butt. They're looking at the past. They're looking at their fears, their wants, and feeling frustrated because they don't see a way out. Because you can't material your way out. You can't fight your way out. What has to change is how you see everything. And that's some work. It does require sitting down and being reflective, thinking about what's important to you, thinking about how you're vibrating now and how you want to vibrate in the future. Meaning what you're attracting now versus what you're attracting in the future. My third book is going to be focused on that in a storytelling way, though, because simply telling you the laws of the universe make no sense if you can't see it in your own life. So I'm going to use the book to illustrate it. Hopefully some people will get it. Of course, past is recognizable because it's all you know is your past. You don't know the future, you only know your past. That's why you don't want to focus on the past, because you already know where it went. And if you're not happy where you're at now, then focusing on your past is only creating more energy in the direction you don't want to go. You see what I'm saying? It is very much like a radio signal. You can only pull in one radio at a station at a time. You can't listen to all of them at once, even though your antenna gets all the signals of all of them simultaneously. You don't hear everything on the radio on every channel at once. You can only tune to one to hear it clearly. It's the same thing with everything else in life. We are vibrators, we are receivers, we are transmitters. And when we don't like what we're getting, it's up to us to stop and analyze why. Where are we at? What are we thinking about most? What are we feeling about? Because whatever you think about and feel about, you bring about. But people don't want to take responsibility for their own lives. They really don't. We have been brought up to be lazy, to wait for someone else to take care of it. Leave it up to God. And I've never said don't leave it up to God, because I know that when your vibration is headed in the right direction, that's exactly what you have to do. Leave it to Source to do all the arranging once your vibration is straight. But if you're going to keep thinking about the past, thinking about what you could have done differently, what might have been, you just hold yourself in stasis. You're not moving forward. You're just repeating history energetically until it manifests itself. And that is, if your past wasn't great, then it's not something you want to keep attracting back into your life, right? So what do you really want to do? And if, like I tell people, when you don't know what to do, but you know you need to do something else or something more because things aren't the way you want them to be. For me, because I've always been, I hate to say child of God because that's so trite and overused. I'm a child of the universe, and I recognize my role in creating my present and my future. Oops. Tomorrow is a new day, exactly. But it's not just tomorrow. You don't have to wait until tomorrow. You can do it right now by focusing on more than what is. Focus on what you desire. But for me, to get myself out of those cycles of what do I do now? I always say, okay, how can I serve? What can I do to assist the world as a whole? What can I do to help in some way? And I always get answers. And things pop up. The right video pops up. The right person pops up. It's there. But it is hard to, it's hard to feel and it's hard to sense when your eyes are constantly on what has already been manifested. If it has taken a physical form, it's already past tense. Once it's been created, it's done. It's time to move on to the next creation, to make something different. We don't get back lost days. We don't get back lost friendships. We don't get back old lovers. And that's usually a blessing. It's always about what we can do tomorrow, what we can do in the moment. It's never about yesterday, not even what you ate, unless it's giving you indigestion today. Okay, we need a little bit more purple. I know one thing though right now, if you keep looking at the news, it's already passed, which means whatever is going on, you couldn't do anything about that, even if you knew about it in time to act. It means it wasn't yours to deal with personally. You got other stuff for your life that's more important for you to pay attention to right now. We cannot keep up with all the news. You have to know when to turn it off and say, okay, enough. I leave it to the source of all things. I have faith that God is love, and that eventually, out of this chaos, order will form. Because that's pretty much the way it works. From chaos into order into chaos again. Back and forth, over and over. Now we've got some cute little scraps. We're going to put that in the scrap bowl. So, oh, I don't think I'm going to start watering this today, because once I hit it with water, I've got at least 2 hours of work in front of me, and it is now, I've already been on for 2 hours. Exactly, Gary, exactly. You have to at least aim at that feeling. You may not feel joyful, and you cannot go from despair or anger right up to joy. All right. Nobody can do that one big leap. If you do, you're faking it, and then it's not a genuine vibration, which means you're just fighting yourself. So, yes, when you remind yourself positivity, positivity, you might not be feeling great right that minute, but by just saying the word positivity, you know where you're trying to aim. You know that you want to turn yourself around so you feel better, and you're hoping to uplift others. That's a really good thing to do. Exactly. You can't dwell in negativity, because negativity can be found everywhere. And why? Because there's positivity. Opposites are always creating each other, all right? That doesn't mean you should stop wanting things to be good or working toward making things better. It just means that you don't have to wear yourself out trying to be positive all the time, and you don't have to lambaste yourself if you get negative. That is part of what helps you create better for yourself in the future. So I'm not telling you just stop having all the feelings that hurt. You can't. If you're angry, anger is better than depression. I'm not saying you should stay angry, but if you get angry, just be angry. Just sit there for a minute with your anger or your tears, your fears, whatever it is. Don't be afraid of your emotions. Feel them, sit with them, and say, okay, this is what I am feeling. And if there's nothing you can do about it in the moment but cry, then cry. You're a human being. You have built-in release valves. Use them. These are 2 release valves. Let it flow. Yeah, and you know what, Gary, that's really sad, because managers, if they're that unhappy, it says very bad things about the company. It's always the managers. When you see a lot of turnover in employees, it's always the managers. But if the managers themselves are happy, then it's headquarters, it's the higher offices. They're not performing their jobs correctly, and they're screwing everything up all the way down. And just because they're making money, they think they're okay, but they're ignoring the human factor. But some of these people are truly looking to eliminate humans. They want you to look at all these experiments, like what Amazon did with the Whole Food stores when they opened it. I think it didn't work, but their whole idea was for you to walk in the store, and immediately, as soon as you put something in your cart, it goes on your total. All right. So it's like already adding up, and by the time you reach your counter, they already got you checked out. You don't know if it's right. You're still going to stand there and go over everything, but that is just like trying to make everything roboticized and everything human removed, which is a huge mistake, because it's supposed to all be serving humans. And humans are the ones that are getting alienated and marginalized and pissed off. But that's right, you cannot let other people affect you. You can't. If you are busy reacting emotionally to everybody around you, then you're going to have to take longer. It's going to take longer for you to figure out what you're really feeling. You're feeling stuff in reaction, or you're feeling stuff because that's what you're really feeling. So you've got to be able to separate that. And if you are reacting in a bad environment, you're feeling bad because everybody around you is nasty or sad or depressed or angry, you're going to reflect that at some point, at least a little bit, until you remove yourself. But you can't always pull yourself out of it, because like you go to work, you've got your hours, you got to be there, and you're working with people who can get very negative. And that's management. Management, that's the normal thing for customers, but management is supposed to help you rise above it so you can be good with those customers and help them calm down and be happy and joyfully choose more things to buy. Happy people spend more. Bottom line. Angry people, well, some angry people, they soothe themselves by showering themselves with gifts or treats, and it helps the moment. And that's usually with people who are kind of deprived growing up. Every little treat's a big deal. But that's also how people develop bad debt, bad spending habits. Oh, I can take your word for it. I've worked in a lot of retail stores. Only one of them was really good. The one where I was the manager of the fine art department was really good. But we had brilliant managers. We had a manager, a woman, who got us all together, and we ended up becoming the highest grossing store of the little 3-store chain. We stood out. We were the ones everybody went to for expert advice, because all of us were really into our departments. We all studied the stuff that came in. We had monthly meetings where the managers bought us pizza or chicken or something. It was once a month. We all sat around at the graphics counter where all of us could fit, and we talked about whatever new products were coming in or had come in. We tell the other people about them so everybody can answer questions about the new products. If anything else was going on, we talk about it. And because of that, we got along really well. And because we worked together so well, every year we were the store that won the big dinner out for all the employees, because we grossed the most money of the 3 stores, had the best feedback. But we had a really good manager. Managers are everything. Our manager knew better than she was a mother, but she was a good mother, and she raised her kids to think on their own, and she encouraged us to do the same. So we didn't have, of course you have rules wherever you work, but she encouraged us to be creative in our departments. We added our own art to the departments. We added our own information sheets that we wrote up and printed out. We had a killer store. We were ready for everything. But the other stores, well, maybe they should try air conditioning. Who wants to stay in your store? It is so damn hot and all you got are fans. You're in the South. The highly humid, hot South. It's hot all year long, pretty much. I mean, really, is there any time in the year that you really can turn the AC off? I mean, I know they do, but I mean, I lived in North Carolina. We did have a winter, but keeping the place warm was nothing like trying to keep it cool. Yeah, when you are able to do some of that on your own, you feel good about it, right? You take some pride in your department. You've been given some responsibility. Well, that's how we were at that store. The manager made sure that we did our normal jobs, but we also added things to it. I created and wrote a newsletter for the store, and it was so popular that they started copying it and putting it in the other two stores. Okay, I didn't get paid extra for that. I didn't get a raise because of that. I did it because I loved my customers and I loved the products I was, selling. So I wanted people to know about them. Oh dear. Well, don't forget the plain water doesn't go in your body. It just washes out your electrolytes. You need to eat a bite of food or have a sip of tomato juice or something like that. I say tomato juice because tomato juice is very high in electrolytes. A glass of milk, even more so. But when you're hot and sweaty, who wants milk? Um, you need a little something. I know. And that's not your job. You should not be doing that. The remodel is up to professionals. And if you're not getting paid extra hours, that's why they bring in the outside contractors. They got a job to do. Well, it's like our building needs a new trash compactor, but instead of just going ahead and making the purchase like they should, they're trying to work out a plan where we will sign away oh, it's okay, we'll take our trash out to the dumpsters out in parking lot in winter. It's not going to work. We got a lot of people in wheelchairs and all that. We cannot be sending them out there in winter. So yeah, that's their way of trying to save 20 grand. But if a multi-state, very good, wealthy corporation is doing as well as they are, handling luxury apartments, they can afford to use the cash reserve they're legally required to have by HUD. So there are things that they can do, but we end up having to fight for them. So when they turn to us and say, well, I need ideas from you, from the community, it's like, well, here's the idea. You own the building, fix it. Oh no. Well, that's ridiculous. Stay away. You don't want to be to blame if somebody screws up an electrical thing. That's bad. For all you know, that's exactly where they come from. Not that that is a bad thing. All right, people deserve a second chance. If they've served their time, you know, it's hard for them to turn over a new leaf if nobody gives them a chance to earn a living. So I'm not going to hold it against people who get out of jail. I've known really great people who've gotten out of jail. Some of them end up back in jail because they can't get a job. So I believe that we do need to make improvements that take care of people and give them a shot at having a real life. Nobody ever with a company name on a work shirt. Oh, you're down south. Don't expect too much of that. A lot of those companies come and go. I dated a guy from Alabama, and he was living up here. And that's pretty much the way they run things. They go from job to job. They collect 50% up front for the job, and then they go and blow it on booze and broads, and then they have to go borrow another 50% to buy the rest of the materials to finish the job they spent the money on. And they just keep going like that until they finally go, I give up, I'm bankrupt. All right, so a lot of them are just assholes who have no intention of having a real company. They just put together a couple of guys or three guys, make a little partnership because they know how to handle a hammer, a nail, and sheetrock. So no, those people don't spend money on shirts and all that. And also that's no guarantee. Glenn, his first job out of high school was he got certified to be a one of those insect people, pest control person. And he was in Los Angeles. He worked for one company, but it turned out that one company had 4 names, 4 phone numbers, 4 addresses, and 4 things they could put on the truck with a name. All right, it was all the same exact people, same company, just different numbers in the book. So you can call up 4 companies to get a quote, and they're just quoting themselves. All right, that's how much these scams go on. So trust nobody. Keep away from anybody they hire. Yeah, I know. Look, I lived down there for 17 years on that farm. I met lots of people. You would think I wouldn't meet very many people out that far from the main roads, but yeah, I went into town all the time. I was MC for one of their autumn festivals. I helped them get a PA system for the town. I get involved wherever I go, but there are points you realize that you can't get any more involved. There's no power that you have. You can just try and help where you can. So I helped where I could and then backed off. Yeah, of course you can, Doc. We'd like to be surrounded by people who are pure professionals. But a lot of those professionals, they want what they're worth. I would. You think I'm going to take $35 to do a psychic reading when I know I can get $225 for the same reading? Which one do you think I'm going to want to do? Not the $35 one, but, and understand, I always give the same service no matter what, especially because I haven't charged for a reading in years. But I know what I'm doing and I'm good. So if somebody wants me to do something for free, like, that's a common thing, by the way. People think that readers should just do what they do for no money at all. Well, you know how to read the cards. Why don't you just give me a free reading? Like, hey, I spent years and years working with these whole things, psychology and blah, 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 blah. Why should I give my time to you, a perfect stranger, for nothing? You're a stranger. You don't mean anything to me. You're just calling me and asking me for a freebie. I got that literally multiple times every single day I signed in to work on Keen. Every day. People will get away with whatever you let them get away with. And, some people believe that humans are innately evil. Some believe that they're innately good. I believe that we always have the freedom to be both and all and nothing. We're human. We're projections of consciousness. We want, what do you mean you're different? In what? Have you ever called up my hotline and asked me for a free reading? I don't think so. But I did start the show almost 19 years ago to give free readings to get people from spending that kind of huge money on crazy people and users. You heard the story about that guy in Asheville. He was a psychic. And, King has this thing, or had, I don't even know anymore because I don't go there, but King had a come on, all the hotlines did 3 free minutes, and then your time starts, whatever your per minute rate is. Yeah, per minute. That was back in like $4.99 a minute. Remember that? And I was $1.99 a minute because I felt $4.99 was insane. Also, I had to do at least $1.99 a minute because if they were too cheap, nobody trusted you. And also, they took 54% of our earnings. And that was before we had to go pay tax on our earnings. So I had no choice. It was like $1.99 is about as cheap as I can afford to go, because in the end, it's going to come out to less than $1 a minute, which is less than $60 an hour. Well, if you're letting your anger get the best of you, you're the one paying the price, aren't you? If other people can tempt you to do things out of character, you definitely need to avoid those people. It was very sad to work with these people here. Like, here is an obvious threat to our security, to our safety, to our comfort, a big reduction in our services, which should result in a lowering of our rent. However, they have just applied to raise our rent. So I thought, for sure, more people would be ready to defend themselves and ready to say, hey, no, we don't want to go along with that crazy plan. It's going to be very bad for most of the people here. But a lot of them were just kind of like, I can carry mine out. I'm strong. It's like, yeah, you might be, but 50% of the building is senior, and most of those seniors have something wrong with them. So it's just people don't give a shit. And I find that really sad, because we have to stick together as times get hard. So I got permission to teach people how to grow 3 seeds for improved nutrition over the winter: lentils, green peas or yellow peas, and mung beans. So they can grow little sprouts that they can eat raw or put on a salad or throw in soup or stew, whatever. Mung beans, you can grow them into sprouts. You don't even need light. Matter of fact, they do better without light. And the peas, they can get beautiful greens that are a gourmet green. So I'm going to teach them how to do it, and we'll see how many people are interested. Now, I know you and I grow a bunch of other kinds of seeds, but I know that we have to order our seeds. I have to get my red clover from out of the state. So I'm not going to tell these old people they're going to have to order the seeds. I am giving them stuff that they can get at any grocery store. You can find lentils anywhere, brown lentils, as long as they're not red, because those have no hull, those turn into mush and rot. But if you want to sprout them, you need the whole dark, the dark ones, brown, green, even black. Sprouting lentils will increase their vitamin C by 500%. 500% more vitamin C just by letting them pop that little first root, and then they're ready to eat. So I'm going to try and teach some people, but I'm going to put a sign-up sheet, and we'll see who wants to come. I've already got all these notes to print out, how to clean them, and how to wash them, and how to preserve them in the refrigerator, all the danger things. There's not a whole lot. With those 3, there's really very little risk of anybody getting a mold or an allergy kind of a system response. So I think those are the 3 safest. And mung beans, everybody knows mung beans. And mung beans you grow in the dark. And I don't know if you know this, Maui, but if you put a weight on top of them in your little container where you're sprouting them, the weight will force them to grow a certain way, and they get to be a fatter, crisper sprout. So little tricks we can learn to make even better than what people think we can get. So I'm excited to teach those people who are interested in better nutrition over this winter when things are going to be more scarce. You need to be able to grow food without dirt. In winter, you don't have, up here, we don't have a garden. In winter, it's snow on the ground. Things are frozen. If you want some fresh greens, you have to get them from the grocery store. And if you can't afford them, you're going to be going without fresh greens, which is not a healthy thing to do. The older you get, really, the more you need those fresh greens. So I have to teach people at least one thing they can grow and feel good about. Plus, the sweet peas, they're so good and they're so pretty. You grow a whole little forest of them in, I'm going to say about 10 days to harvest. And they're fresh and they're curly and they're happy and they're bright green and you've got something to go into your ramen or your soup or a sandwich. It tastes like fresh baby green peas. So we can do things to help ourselves, but I'm learning that a lot of people just don't know. They've heard about it, been something vaguely in the past, like in the 60s when people were sprouting all the time. They were sprouting up. I learned about wheatgrass. It's like wheatgrass. They're growing wheatgrass, which looks just like hay. I mean, it's grass. And it gets about this, and then they cut it and they juice it. And it's like just nothing but chlorophyll to me. That is just disgusting to me. I'm never going to be drinking wheatgrass. Cats love fresh wheatgrass. They love to chew on fresh grass. It's good for them. So I used to grow it for my cats. I never grew it for me. So there are things we can do to improve our lives and improve the lives of others. So when you are finding yourself ready to kill somebody because they're an asshole, or there's nothing but gossip or malicious crap going on and you don't want to be involved, it is harder to ask yourself, ask Source, how can I serve? But it does change the dynamic. It does change the energy. So instead of being angry, part of your spirit starts funneling answers to you of what you can do to make yourself feel better, what you can do to help the situation. Maybe there's nothing you can do in your building, but there might be people not in your building that can use your knowledge or friendship or support. There are so many different ways we connect with the world. It's up to us. We have to be the ones to say, okay, universe, let me help. Point me in the right direction. I'm open. But then if you really want the answer, you can't do it when you're angry. You don't get answers when you're angry. That's a good time to get rid of the emotion. But if you want answers, if you want inspiration, if you want to be able to call on your inner genius, you have to find a way to laugh. You have to make yourself chill, whatever it takes. You've got to be able to smile. You've got to feel genuinely, has to be genuine. You can't lie to the universe. The universe does nothing but read your vibrations, for better or worse. If you're lying, the universe knows it. It's not words. So I tell you, when you want to pray, it's not the words that God is hearing, it's your feelings, it's your heart. They say God reads your heart, reading the feelings, not your shopping list of what you want. So if you're angry, be angry, but then get yourself out of that mood because it's not going to help you in the long run. It's good to get rid of it, express it, but then dump it as fast as you can. Turn your attention to that which you desire, because that which is like unto itself is drawn. The vibration only attracts the same. It's not opposites attract. Like attracts like. Keep that in mind when you're sitting there having feelings. That's a vibration. So if you don't like how you're feeling, you got to do something consciously to change your mood. I know when I've had my limit of looking at news. All right, I time it now. It's like, okay, I get the gist. On we go. I got the gist. Okay, on we go. Boom, boom, boom. Get them out of the way, and then, okay, I need to center. I'll watch something funny, or like June Good News. I just posted it here in the community. If you didn't notice, there is a community here on my channel. I suppose the community page or something like that. And I have posted other YouTube posts there, so they're handy for you. Some are just amusing and good to mellow out. Some are informative. The one I posted today was about good news you may have missed in June, and it really does have good news. So you have to consciously choose to lift yourself up. Don't worry about everybody else. As you lift yourself up and you start feeling better, people will look at you like, how come you're doing so good? And the ones who are really bad, they can't match your vibration. They're going to avoid you. People with crappy vibes, they go away. The force is strong with all of us. It's just it doesn't express itself well if you're not expressing yourself well. So think about what you love. Just like when you focus on how much you love your garden, people appear out of the blue to help you with it. But if you're stressed about your garden, fearful about your garden, angry about your garden, well, all those possible support teams just disappear. They're not matching your vibration. Those are helpful vibes, and you're putting out a crappy one. So what do you want? Like right now, I know I can't work on this till tomorrow, but I got it all set up. Got the first two strong layers. We've got the colorful layers. Once I get rolling on it tomorrow, I'll flip it over. We'll do another 2 layers of this on the bottom, and work on making this into a purse. Right there. So in the meantime, I'm gonna go. It's 4:21. I know, but see, you love that on one level. You don't want to be used, but you have made yourself that. That's been your vibe, because that's where you go for your peace. What are stressed out people attracted to, Maui? Peace. And if you are offering a soothing vibration, which is really just for you, but everyone around you is affected by that vibration. People in need of peace will be attracted, even if they're not bringing peace with them, but they will be attracted and not even understand why. And you'll wonder why too, because like, hey, I don't need your vibe around here, go away. But then your vibe will not match, or match the wrong part of them. So we want to not be reactive. We don't want to react to our environment. We want to act independent of the environment, aware of what's going on. But that doesn't mean we want to get sucked into it. I mean, you've got neighbors you want nothing to do with, and neither would I. We got similar neighbors here, same thing. But do you know how rare it is that I bump into them anymore? Because I know how to put them on the edges of my consciousness, so I don't have to deal with them all the time. It was not easy at first until I recognized, oh, that's why I'm keep seeing that asshole. Because I'm hoping not to. And then I realized, oh, well, just stop thinking about it. And when that person would pop in my head, I go, oh, yeah. And then I immediately move my attention to something else, a different subject entirely. And it worked. So you have an effect on your environment, but you can't affect it intentionally by putting your focus on others. You can only put your attention on you. And as you are evolving your vibration, you're going to be attracting and also keeping at arm's length those that you don't want, because you're not going to think about them anymore. You're going to focus on what you want. You have to keep bringing that attention back over and over. So when you're thinking about your garden, it's likely, like every other human, your mind is going to think, focus for a minute, and it's going to kind of wobble and stray. And when it strays, it goes into all kinds of things. But remember, the brain only has one place to go when it drifts: the past. That's all it knows. Only knows what's already happened. If you want to create, you have to think consciously, directing your thoughts about the future. Otherwise, like I said, it's always the past. It's all that's in your brain. The past, what's already happened. Everything you observe on the news, it's already happened or it wouldn't be on the news. And then if you notice, you see one headline and then 20 minutes later, another person comes out with the same thing, a little different, but it's the same story. You're getting the same thing over and over and over. And like, honestly, how many times do you want to see some of those ugly faces, right? Like, I don't want to see one more cartoon with that man because I don't like anything about him. You know who I'm referring to. So, well, you don't want to keep filling your vision with things that make you upset. That's why I say it's a conscious choice to be happy. It's a decision we have to make individually to be happy. Because if we don't make that choice, that your happiness has to matter, you'll always put yourself second or third or just last in general because you want to make other people happy, but you don't understand you can't make other people happy. It's never been your job and it's impossible. People can say, oh yes, you make me so happy because you do something for them. And yeah, they're very happy in that moment, but you can't make them happy people. You just can't. They are who they are. It's their decision to be happy. Repatriation. In what sense, Doc? And yes, trees grow, and we are growing. We don't want to hold ourselves back. Do you think the tree contemplates its roots all day long? Or do you think it is moving upward toward the sun? Focus on the sun. It knows it's got roots. Roots are holding it firm, getting it nutrition. Beyond that, it's above ground. We're looking at the part of the tree that's above ground. Yeah, hug a tree. They like it. And so do you. Hugging a tree feels good as long as there's nothing crawling on it. You know what's really funny is sometimes I'd go out in the country. Well, I was in the country, but we were in Rhode Island, and we had to drive to the country, um, countryish areas to walk the dogs, and we'd go out also to have picnics by the lake, things like that. And one day I'm out there with the picnic, and I'm just in the mood to hug a tree, and I go to the nearest tree, and I'm ready to give it a hug, and I see all these dead caterpillars hanging on strings. Like, what in the? It's this parasite that gets these bad caterpillars and infects them, and then they just kind of hang there by their string and dry out. It's like, ew. So I was glad I paused in my hug, or I would have had a few of them on me. Exactly, Doc. It's what do you want to see more of in your life? That's what you want to keep looking at. So yeah, I'm a big believer in staying up to date on things that are now because I might have to take action, like what I'm doing for our building. But I'm doing it only because it's going to affect me personally and every other senior here. So I have to take action. It's the only moral thing I can do. I don't have anything in my power, like I can't buy this building, and make rule changes. There are some things you just cannot change because they're not yours to change. But whatever is in your purview, yes, you can change by your own vibration. So change the vibe. You don't like what's going on right now, change your vibe. You might be able to even jump a timeline into something better. So when we jump timelines, and we do it when we're, well, I can't even tell you exactly how. I can tell you how you can do it by not repeating behaviors, not letting fear get you when something would normally make you fearful. You can stop it in the tracks and alter the trajectory of your life in that moment. But you cannot go from, I cannot go from me sitting here in this building to suddenly me sitting in a flat in New York City. All right, because I jumped the timeline. It's not that big of a change. It has to be something adjacent to where you are if you're going to move. And also, when you change timelines, you're the only one who knows it, because everybody else, it's just their normal timeline. So, yeah, we can do it. I have done it. I've done it by accident a couple times. Then I did it consciously, not realizing what I was doing. But then I realized afterward that oh my God, I shifted. I shocked myself. So now I know how to do it. It was just not expected at the moment. So, okay, I wasn't sure if that was offensive. No, no offense. We can either reflect exactly what we're seeing and react to it, which means if somebody's angry around us, we get angry too. Or we can choose a different way of dealing with that. Someone around us gets angry, we can choose to walk away. If we care about them, we might want to choose to see if we can soothe them. We have options when we are faced with something, whether we like it or not. So you've got to make a choice. If you're facing something you don't like, do you want to keep going toward it? I mean, it's like having been given two drinks, and one is sweet and one is really bitter. Which one do you want to take a second sip of? So if you're around a really bitter, nasty person, you don't want to be feeding them more. You don't want to be affected by their bitterness or anger, right? But if you're reactive, you may find yourself getting angry or defensive, and you put up, or what do they say in getting all bowed up. That's an expression in Oklahoma, getting bowed up. When you arch your back and you're ready to strut. Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, that's getting bowed up. Getting bowed up is nothing we want to do, because it only attracts more roosters who want to fight. Oh no, hugging a tree is a real thing. Well, he didn't say like go hug a tree and like dismissing me. So I'm good. And if it comes from Doc, I would not take offense anyway. Now he's been with us 18 years. So in all of these years together, we have seen the good, the bad, the ugly. We have made many mistakes. We have made many good decisions. Um, we have lived lives over the last 18 years, right? And I'd like to believe that we're better off now than we were when we started. We've learned more, we've grown more, we have found ourselves getting out of bad situations and into better. Doc is cray cray today. Doc needs a nap. Doc needs no more coffee today. Ooh. Ooh, what do you think? Oh, I wish I had some of this in pink. Oh my God, that would be gorgeous. What do you think about that? And we got rid of red nips in here. Get out of here, nips. I have to use some. one more cup and that's it. If you're not in the best mood, you know, caffeine is not going to assist you. But a nap will help you reset your emotional set point. Well, I'll be here just a few minutes. I think I'm going to just put this all over and I'll call it a day. Come back tomorrow. But I've got a lot to do tomorrow. I'm cooking for a bunch of people who are kind of short on food right now. So I bought 2.5 pounds of chicken wings. I'm gonna make a big pot of rice with some sauteed veg like tomatoes and celery and onions. And a big angel food pineapple cake. Enough to feed a dozen people. Oh, I hear you. I hear. I love my tea. My coffee is cream and sugar. It is like dessert, especially on Fridays, because Fridays I whip up my half and half and make it like a cappuccino, and then I put uh, dark chocolate chopped up powder on top of it. That's my Friday treat, and it's definitely like a dessert. But I can only do 1 cup of coffee because I'm so sensitive to caffeine anymore, and mostly the acid, I think. But according to my wrist tracker, I sleep like a shark, which is to say, never completely really asleep. So I really don't need any more caffeine in my life. I was disappointed though because I like my cup of hot cocoa at bedtime, but that's a double whammy. It's caffeine and theobromine, and neither one is good for sleep. So theobromine is what's bad for dogs when they eat chocolate. Ugh. Yeah, Maxwell House, I don't think has all Arabica beans. They're a little bit more bitter. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Like we like certain blends. We've found things that are really yummy for us, so there's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole idea. That's a variety for you to try and find what you like. Now, if you ever want to learn how to make your own creamers that are flavored, actually YouTube's got some great videos on how to do it cheaper and healthier without all the additives, and it'll keep in your fridge for a week. So there are ways to not buy those expensive things. You get just as much for half the price and more to your taste too. Like there was one that came out for a holiday. I don't remember who made it, but chocolate mint, peppermint, something like that. It was delicious the first time. But by the second cup, I started tasting, I don't know, chemicals, an aftertaste. It was not what I wanted. So I didn't buy it again. Or maybe I did buy it again and then said, nope, this is not for me. And I found recipes for making better tasting and healthier versions. And yes, I didn't ever, since I ate a roast What was there? And how did she know? She knew by your toilet. If when a mother asks you if you have the runs, that means you left something behind for her to clean that you didn't notice, and she did. That's true, you can't eat everybody's cooking. That's a wonderful plan, Maui. Well, you remember those crackers I made with leftover rice? And I added some grated coconut, really ground up coconut, and sesame seeds. They were out of this world. There's nothing on the market like them, and they cost a fraction of what any rice crackers cost on the market. So I was really thrilled about those. I need to make them again. I just haven't made any rice that had leftovers. The last 2 times I ate rice, I ended up eating it all. So, yeah. Okay, now this is all going to get wiggled around when it's wet and shrink unevenly with the wool and create all those amazing textures I love. So tomorrow, this is our project. After I take care of all the other stuff I have to do. I need to call legal aid and a bunch of legal stuff to take care of for this building in the interest of this building. Well, do you think she's just catching up with you? Her roast was old? Oh, yee. Sorry to hear it. Well, I have a delicious light meal planned for myself tonight. Remember I told you I made that I just realized, oh, I've got this killer gold here too. I'm sorry, easily distracted with art stuff. What was I just saying about food? Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's right. I made a turkey thigh. Well, it didn't seem very big, but it's like I still have a whole bunch on the bone. I'm just gonna saute that in my frying pan when I do up some green onions and potatoes. You know what I really enjoy about making stuff for myself to wear or use? Nobody else has it. There's not going to be one other purse, even if they use the same yarn or fibers, they're not going to do what I did. And I love that it's different. Look at all of that. This is bamboo. Okay, I think I should call it quits before I overdo it. I guess I better stand up. So how did your chicken come out? You roasted the whole thing, didn't you? Okay, this from here up is the flap, so let's move some of that. This bag is not going to have a fastener. It's going to be the fold over. So maybe just a little bit more of that orange there. I can't believe I missed this one. Like, this is just the perfect color to go in it. It's already in there. Right there. Okay. I think everything is stuck enough so I don't have to worry about it getting swept away by a breeze. Tomorrow we hit it with water, make it a flat sheet. Tastes good to you. All right. Okay, when you make your chicken, do you like it spicy or sweet? What do you coat it with? What do you season it with? Well, I guess my hair is dry now. It's back to being a poof ball. And my hair things are not here. Okay. Season salt and pepper and onions. That's it. That's good. Seasoned salt has a whole bunch of seasonings in it. I recommend Badia Complete seasoned salt. It's got a really nice blend that seems to go with everything. Just remember, when you eat out, never order the fish special. I mean, you can order fish, but if it's on special, that means they're trying to get rid of it. Don't order it. So when I get a whole chicken now, I don't cook the whole thing anymore. I cut it up into like at least 5 meals. So yeah, I get plenty out of it. Plus I end up with the carcass with some meat on it that I saved for making chicken broth. Really can't go. I mean, if it's a decent chicken, it doesn't really need that much. It does need salt, and so do you. When you're working in the heat, you have to make sure you keep your salt up or you will dehydrate. I haven't tried theirs. But most of them are pretty good. Unless you're like my ex-mother-in-law. She cooked us dinner one night, and it was so freaking salty. Everything except the bread was perfect. She made rolls. They were great. But everything else was so damn salty. And it's like, Mom, what did you I think you use a little too much salt. I didn't use no salt. I just used seasoned salt, onion salt, garlic salt. I just barely touched the regular salt. Like, but she didn't hear herself with all the other salts that she was using. Onion salt is mostly salt. Garlic salt is mostly salt. So, yeah, I looked in her cabinet. She had Lori's seasoned salt, all the seasoned salts, but all had salt in them. So that's why our food was like puckery salt. I'm trying Little Best. Oh, you're Little Best. Okay. Yeah, just focus on what tastes good. You know what you're buying. You know if you're buying something crappy. You know if it's full of sugar or palm oil or corn syrup. You read the ingredients. The fewer ingredients, the better it's going to be. And there's so many different things that we can make ourselves that only take minutes, like a chickpea tortilla. You can buy chickpea flour. It's already ground up finely. Put it in a cup, add some water, and pour it onto a greased pan and flip it, and you got a tortilla. It's like nothing. Hey, I'm not a big fan of Lori's. I worked for the restaurant Lori's. They had they were like the before Bob's Big Boy, I think it was. Like Bob's Big Boy, their secret was the way they steamed some of the flavor in, and so did that's what Lori's used to do with their burgers. But you put the seasoning on and then you steam it in. That was their secret. It was good. I wasn't much on burgers back then, but smelled really good. People forget Lori's was a restaurant before it was a seasoning from the restaurant. There are little tweaks you can make in your diet that increase your nutrition without you spending more money or even really more effort, like carrots. Carrots are way more healthy once they're cooked because it takes the heat to bring the vitamin A out. So you need that chemical process to happen to get your maximum out of vitamin A. So cook your carrots. That's not that hard. When you get older, it's hard for you to digest a lot of raw stuff. Wilt it, steam it. Doesn't take much. What else is, oh, tomatoes. Although I always loved fresh tomato on a sandwich, cooked tomatoes are healthier. It brings out the lycopene, which is what's in the red color. So if you want them to be healthier, especially for men, they say men need 7 servings of tomatoes a week for prostate health. That's basically once a day. But the caveat is it needs to be cooked. Tomato sauce counts. Tomato paste counts. Stewed tomatoes, boiled, fried, anything but raw, it counts. So if you like tomatoes, throw them in your frying pan and then use them for something. They're way healthier. And I said men have a prostate. I don't. So men need more cooked tomatoes a week than women. Little factoids. Okay, my darlings, it's already almost 5 o'clock. I am done. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, but I still have a lot of stuff to do tonight in preparation for tomorrow. So I'll see you at some point tomorrow because you know I can't wait to turn this into something. So I'll be back tomorrow. You guys have a great afternoon and evening. Rest well, recover well, Gary. Enjoy your day off tomorrow, getting your stuff done. And Doc, go get that cup of coffee and get into the enjoyment of it and smile over it. The wonderful aroma. Oh, fresh coffee, what a smell, right? Sunday, Sunday, Sunday at Raceway Park. Oh, the old days. All right, chickadees. Aloha! Until tomorrow.